a friend of mine said, en route to the stage, you become a totally different person. I don't know what that difference is, except that I'm about to perform. I'm I'm psychologically thinking about the heat, the work that's to be given, and the people out there. So if there's a personality that goes, if there's actually a personality change that go with that, I'm not actually aware of it because it's me that's going through that psychologically. My stage performance is I give the people what I think they want. I think I'm known for they want to see my legs, the big hairstyle, the red lips, and all of how I make myself famous. That's there, and I care about my image and what they want. So a lot of that is how it is. When off stage, I don't want that attention. I wear dresses very seldom off stage. I wear tight clothes very seldom off stage. As a matter of fact, I wear men clothes a lot, shoes and all. So there's quite a difference in the two people. I wanted that time. I wanted that space. I have been wanting to have a good 5 years off, which I almost managed to make this time, for a long time, to really see would I really want to go back or really have a real desire. Because, I've been working all my life and just year after year, album after album, tour after tour. It was very nice. The rest was, I enjoyed being the person that I am rather than being the second performing person that I am. And the time was good for me. I had a really very good rest. And I'm a bit excited now to go back because I have a good album. I have some songs that I'm interested in performing. And I'm happy to see my musicians because they've been running around playing with a lot of other people. But most of all, I've got to say that a few times standing there saying hi to the people, that's going to be kind of nice, because I really believe when they say, "Hi, Tina," it's kind of something personal about it, I remember when it started, and I must tell this story because it is important. People think that I am a sex symbol and I'm being sexy for the men. I'm not. I'm there for my audience, all men and the women. And I started years ago to perform to women, and I found that I got a better response from the people because I didn't have that attitude of women thinking that I'm shaking it up for the guys, And so then I didn't have to worry about that anymore after I mastered the fact that the people, I'm not trying to be sexy or trying to turn anybody on. I'm there for performers for everybody to have a good time for the moment, We'd heard it before and we thought it was not the right song for the right time. Well, actually we found it because it was the arrangement and it needed updating, so to speak. And I will tell Taylor when I see her, actually, because we know each other, and I always call it voice aerobics. A lot of singers in America now, they really, really push their voices to show what they can do with it. And I think she was doing a lot of that, which I didn't like. And so when I decided that we decided that we would take that one, I didn't listen to Taylor anymore. I was just started to sing it how I would sing it, just to really sing it because it was a good song. And then I referred back and I took a few things that she did. I was ready for them. I had played them around the house and moving. What happens when you move, you never finally get everything right. But that album, of course, and I said once earlier today, and Sting's album, the work, the demos of my album is what I basically decorated my house to or put it in order with. And I was singing those songs and they were getting me going. I was feeling like, ooh, this is going to be a great one to perform. And it was all in my head, So by the time I got to the studio, Trevor was shocked, He was thinking, my God, she sung. I don't have anything for her to do now. She's finished with the song already. Yeah, I was well prepared. I was ready because I liked them. I liked the songs I was singing. Yes, I have a certain amount of input on the arrangement, the dynamics of it, certain parts that I'd like to insist on keeping for the sweetening of it. All of my albums, I've had a bit of that input with what was played on the demo. Some of that stuff is important to keep. Some of the arrangements is important to keep. And I insist on some of it sometimes. Trevor, however, is a surprise that the little pieces that he has because they're so subtle, but yet they jump right out at you. And and even surprisingly, he always stick them back in the track so far. And this time I've said, bring that out. I want that because when I do it on stage, I'm going to bring those out, because he's very subtle with how he does it, And he says, well, I don't usually arrange like, but I'll do it. I'll do it, but that's not how I mix. So this time, that's what we've had going with him, and he's like he's a little hesitant. He says, I want all of us to be happy with this mix and so forth. So it's been a little bit unusual how Roger and I work because we don't drag our feet. We get right onto it. We do it fast, and Trevor usually takes a bit of time to play with him, So I think it was an experience for him this time as well, in terms of bringing out all those little things that he's adding and to do it quick. Yes, that quietness that really lets you know that this person really will do anything. It's just be there somehow, and just very, very final. And actually, when I started the rehearsals, and with the choreographers and all, at the finish of the song, I just turned and walked away. It was like said. In the music, and that's how I'll do it. The music just says it. Actually, I had asked the guys to write a song for me at a gathering of theirs in the south of France. We live very close to each other, and they had a housewarming. They had just moved in, and I went down and I asked them for a song, which I knew I would get, but I didn't think it would come about as soon as it did. And when the song, of course, came through management, and Roger came and said that they want me to sing this song. Well, I thought, this is a chain reaction here. If the song happens to be a hit, the record company is going to come to Roger for me to get on with another album, and then that's going to be a promotional tour, and from that, the promoter's going to start. It's going to look like a tour coming up, and I wasn't yet ready because it was the summertime in Switzerland and France, and it was no time for going into hotels again. So I tried my best to squeeze out of it. I said, okay, if the song is fine, I'll do it. And then the song started to come in. I didn't like a single one for the movie. It didn't feel right. And then I think Roger contacted the studios and said, Edge and Bono, they are very hip, blah, blah, blah. And then when the contact was made, I would say either through Roger or through the Bond people, Bono had a fit. I think he sat down and wrote it right then and sent it to me because he says, no one can write this Bond theme because I was at Ian Fleming's place for my honeymoon and I must write the song. He sent me the roughest lyrics, scratched out, and he said, Dear Tina, it's really very rough. We're in the process of recording our own album, but we were working through in this recording studio. And so I listened to it and I thought, oh my God. And I believed in them because I had met them and I like their work and I know they know what they're doing. So I thought, all right, I'm going to go for this one because I believe it'll come out positive. And we actually got it right in the studio. They were there, the two of them. Bono was pacing around, giving me lines in the control room, and yeah, we did it right there. But it was the song, and it was super. I think the movie people don't have an eye on me yet in that sense. I just told a story which I have to tell you. Actually, the movie was Fortress. It was a script very close. Actually, I had made time for it and everything, and unfortunately, we ran into some problems with directors and so forth. But the part for me, they had for me, and I was very excited. I was a very strong woman. I gave, really support to the women and the men there, and I even had a section of my own, where people came to me and talked. Of course I did. Guess what? It was a hooker. I thought, what? I was just so ready for it because I love this movie, Fortress. It's fantastic. And so I passed on it because they still cannot see me doing any, even after Mad Max, they still just want to place me in that odd place. And, I'm thinking, well, you have to work your way up, Tina, in movies. Well, I'm starting a bit late to work my way up, and I don't know if I want it that bad to work my way up from being a hooker. I'll work my way up from anything else. There's Thelma Louise and all of that. There's a lot out there that I can do other than being a hooker. I just don't, even Tommy, I was a hooker, but I wasn't actually hookering. I was a mad woman. So even if they make me a hooker mad woman is okay, but not really just sitting back there giving advice and the little room is over there ready for you. No, thank you. No. I've earned more than that. So that's actually everything I've gotten has been for those parts. So I think that when I say that Hollywood don't really have an eye for me yet, they haven't found. They said to me when we get a part, all of them, Roger and I went to Hollywood and talked to all of them, and they said, Tina, we promise you, when there's a part, we will ask you. And the Bond, the company that produced 007, he came at the premiere and he said, I almost hired you for Ghost, he said. That was between Whoopi Goldberg and me. So now I've got someone that's having a look. So if the boss starts to looking around from these movies, then I know that there's a chance of something that will come. It was great, the Whoopi part. I thought Whoopi was great in Ghost, but it would have been good for me too. Well, us girls, we know how to ask those questions with that. Mel, the first time I saw him when he walked into pre-production, I thought he looked like a high school boy. First of all, he appears bigger on screen, which most of us do, and he was wearing just very loose trousers and a shirt and just simple shoes. And I thought, oh my goodness, I actually really loved his personality. He's very fun and I believe very loving and very honest, and I think he's a good person. But it wasn't sexy for me, and I wasn't attracted to him in a sexual kind of way. So if that answers the question for the girls. But I enjoyed working with him. Well, genes. And also because I care about myself. I want to look good to myself. I want to look the best that I can. I work on it. I think about it. I'm just talking to the girls now. If you want to look good, you got to care about yourself. You can't do it for your husband or your man. You've got to look in the mirror and feel that you look good to yourself. And you have to want to look good to yourself. And you must start with, when you get up during the day, is by putting on something where you look as good as you can, depending on what it is you have to do. And it all starts there, and then you just move forward with it. You just can't give up because you have a family and the responsibility of taking care of kids in a house. And that's how I stay alive. I must make a few corrections here. Actually, Tony will always write for me because, he's a very good writer and we're very close. But I believe the true writer was my musician. It was a collaboration between James Ralston, my longtime guitar player, and Tony, because this was a story of my guitar player's life. He had some problems in his relationship, and it was a very touching time for him. And actually why I'm clarifying is because I'm really very happy that out of all these years that he's worked with me, finally he's educated himself to being able to have a song on an album of mine. Hopefully in future more, but we're all celebrating that as well. Tony helped him a lot because Tony is more experienced with writing and doing demos. And he went down to Nashville and actually lived in Tony's house, and they worked together. So I'm sure that there was a great deal of influence there. And the song itself always reminded me, and I would say also, I think I can speak for Roger, that it reminded me of a Sting song, because at the time I was, let's just say, a song that Sting could really deliver. The Fields of Gold at that moment was in my head. I played it every minute, every second, and it's just such a wonderful album. And I thought it would be nice if I hadn't taken the song to give it to Sting, because it's, and actually Sting did say that he wished he had it. It's a wonderful song. Yeah, and so as we were talking about it, and I gave this album to, Roger gave it to Trevor when we were trying to talk Trevor into doing this, because the demo was quite rough. And then he got the message. He felt it's a kind of a Sting song, So he said we should get Sting to actually sing. Well, we're just throwing out. I said, well, why not? And then we just asked to see if, Sting would be interested. And when I heard that, he said, oh, sure, I'll be right over. Where are you? And he came that same night. And, nice. That's all I have. I mean, everything is out there now since the movie, right? When I'm not working, I like a low profile. I like to drive the street. I want to go to, sometimes when I personally want to go to the market and see what they got, they might have some cookies on the shelf that nobody would ever see that I want. It's something about walking in a market with the trolley and looking and seeing all kinds of goodies. And when you're in the papers all the time, you can't do it because you're right in the public's eye. You're right there in their faces. They look here and they look there and they see you, and you just have no peace. This photographer, we haven't gotten yet, but we're going to get him. We've got a little gun that's not a bullet. It sounds like a bullet. I have a neighbor there that's just below, and she said, I saw this man with a motorbike. They're looking. I didn't know he was watching us, because we all had a bit of theft down there, and she didn't know what it was. And so we found out that he wasn't on the mountain over there. He's down on the road. He's not up top where we thought he might be. And this is the same one that photographed me years ago when I was indecent, just getting up ready for airport, and I hadn't decorated the house. It was just as it was, and there was an area where they didn't have doors. You could look straight into the bathroom area, because these people didn't have to worry about that kind of thing. And I was actually shocked. Roger came into the dressing room once and said, no, someone told me, and then I said something to Roger. He goes, I didn't want to upset you, and he showed me this magazine where it showed me step by step. I got out of bed, I stood at the sink, preparing myself. I went outside and I had to wash my hairpiece, and I had the sun drying, fresh air, and the whole thing. I was holding Medusa in my hand, so to speak. Oh, I thought, what? I couldn't get it together because where my house is, I thought there was no view for a camera. Well, this man found one, and he has consistently worked that area to get photographs of me. So now that we know where he is, I said, everybody was, we're going to go and puncture his tires. I said, no, we're not. We're going to go down there when he's there. We're going to harness him in, Brian and all the workers, and then we're going to get the gun. I'm going to walk in like a Mad Max, and I'm going to say, you have taken all these photographs. I'm going to really scare him. Then I'm going to shoot the ground first to make him think the gun is real, right? I can't wait. Oh, I shouldn't say it, because then he'll know the plan. Don't write it. Don't tell. But we're planning to get him in a fun kind of way, And I'll just have to be careful from now on. I'm trying to plant trees on that side where he won't have as much access. But you know what? Those guys are like cancer. They know how to get in. They just find a place. But I have to work harder with making sure now that I'm aware that he might be there and just deal with it. That's how they make their money. That's what they told Diana. I got Princess Diana. She said, why are you harassing me, according to the tabloids? And they said, well, this is how I feed my children. I'm a photographer, and I take these pictures. And if you take that attitude like that, you know that they're only doing their job. So I'm not a manager. I'm a singer. I needed a manager. Ike and Tina needed a manager. I was aware of the fact that I needed someone to get me to fill those kind of halls. I didn't know how it was done. I just thought no black people had ever filled stadiums like that, and I didn't know why. Do you understand what I mean? I'm speaking of Aretha and Gladys Knight and the Pips and the Temptations. All those people that have had records have been huge and they fill those auditoriums to a point, but not that I know of that any of them had filled stadiums like that. And so when I worked with Olivia Newton-John, one of the dancers that worked with me, she knew Roger and his partner at the time, Lee Kramer, and she said, those guys are really hip, Tina. She said, you should talk to them. And when I went to talk to them, Roger got my attention more than actually his partner at the time. I just felt he was more the manager for me because he had managed people that needed to work on the road, from Australia with them. So was groups there. And when I had a meeting with him and talked to him about what I wanted, he seemed to have known precisely how to get me there. He was that kind of a businessman that knew the business side of it that takes an artist to get where they need to get. A manager is often taken for a road manager. They're out there, they're with the acts. But there's a business side, there's a record company side. There's the business side of breaking one's career, I feel. And that's what I think that's actually what Lee Kramer said that Roger was, why he took Roger on for Olivia, because Roger had that sense of being a breaker. And you forget what he did for Olivia. That last part of Olivia's career was Roger. I'm sure it hasn't been known. He's a manager. He's a professional manager. He's a businessman. He doesn't interfere. Well, he interferes a little bit because, if you're a good manager, you don't stop at one point. You go there. You don't clean half the table. But that's also, we work good there too. It's a good balance there in terms of the fact that I don't want to work on the business side. I don't want to deal with that frustration and that stress, He works better with it than me. I just want to perform and all of that stuff be taken care of. And that's why Roger's important to me, because he takes care of that kind of business for me and makes those kind of decisions, because most likely singers don't make the same decisions that managers make because we're not business people. That's what I thought. When I first heard the demo, I thought, oh, I thought a hip song. I thought a very hip song for Barry White as well. It was, oh, baby. But I couldn't get that low in that key, so I'll have to manage that. But anyhow, because I couldn't get that low, then, it was arranged. Of course, we'll get to later in the story about what happened with the Spanish voice there. But I want it so much because I don't want to rap, but there's some songs it's good to talk. Well, in the beginning, I did a lot of talking in the early days on songs, so it took me back to that for the people. And that's what I feel this album is. It's giving the people everything from the past, but it's an update version. And so we started on it, and we worked really hard. I like it because it's naughty, it's a groove, and it stimulates people in a different kind of way. I always have them up and da-da-da and bang, bang, and this one is just right down there, And so then we figured it would be great if a male voice was doing the "Oh Baby." I don't know where it came from, because the three of us, me, Roger, and Trevor, is in the studio really talking about these songs and what will make them the best they can be. Well, Roger's more in touch than I am because I'm out of touch in Switzerland and out of touch because I particularly like it. So he knew what was happening out there, and he knew about the Spanish man, the Banderas. Yeah. And I know of him, of course, and his work, but I didn't think of him. But he's so big in America, so he's very strong in Roger and Trevor's mind. But again, can you get those people? You know how it is. They're so big, the stars these days. They get big real quick. So I was hesitant to think whether he would or not. And I understood that he thought, oh, fine. Well, he's not a singer. He realized that it was just, some ad-libbing. And also I hear that he's a very nice person, because I thought after, oh, God, I hope this guy is not one of those really good, hey, baby, I did the song with you. Come over here and give me a kiss. I thought I'd have to deal with that. And he wasn't. I hear that he's really very nice. And actually, I envision now, whenever we're touring and working, for him to come on stage, and I think kids would probably have a fit because, he's a sex symbol. I think he's a sex symbol. And actually sing the part. I think that would be a nice surprise for the audience. Now, put yourself in my place. I've been in the business nearly 35 years, or maybe even more. And I cannot get past one tour without doing press. What can I say? How much more can I say in interviews? And sometimes I'm asked questions that I have to think very quick to try to give an answer. There's times, of course, like when you embarrassingly forget someone's name. It's a bit of stress involved with press. And then you never know when you do an interview for the newspaper or whatever it is, and they really write something up that you didn't mean. You might have said it, but you didn't mean it. And they know you didn't mean it, but they just can twist it a little bit. Press is very hard. It's needed, of course, and I realize that, but that's the only downside. If I could only get through without doing press, but it's not possible. It's not comfortable. I don't like talking about myself. It's important to talk about the songs and all of that, but when they start really pinching around the other stuff, the private life and so forth, it gets a bit uncomfortable, And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that have a problem with it, but we have to do it. It's that part that goes with it. Well, it's about to be the turn of the century. I think a lot of positives and negatives will be changed in the turn of the century. Possibilities depends on your karma. Depends on one's life and their life condition. Depends on how hard they work, how determined they are, how strong they are in making their dreams come true. The answer to your question is, I think that hard work and determination, no matter who or what, you can make it happen if you work hard enough and at it, I think, and not giving up. I was asked that question earlier today, and someone thought that I might have been bitter. I don't have time for bitterness one shouldn't have time for bitterness when you're trying to be successful or trying to get to a point, And all of those things are just pushed aside. So one view, what you want, work towards it, So that's my attitude. That's typical of me. I didn't like What's Love Got to Do with It too, did I? No, as I've said more than once, the good part about Roger Davies is that he has a commercial ear, and I don't. And I never particularly listened to that song that much. And I just recently, before Roger brought it on, I saw the video, and I thought, gosh, that's that song. The girl was just clonking along singing, and I couldn't get anything from the video either. So I thought, oh, this one is going to be a hard one. But one thing I can do, and I guess that was one of the things that I took from the past, is I can sing songs that I don't particularly care about just to see if they'll happen. And that's what I did. And Roger said, no, but I just think this song I think it can work. And I thought, all right, well, fine, I can sing it. And after I sung it once and then listened to it a lot, then I get something from making a demo of it from whatever it is I do. And I got to say, I was surprised when it came back. And he went out and he found the guy to put the track down, and we went in the studio and we did it. And yeah, I like it. I heard recently, and I like the expression, I don't know who it was from, they call it the mother of the song, the giver. The life of the song shouldn't be taken away. It should not be taken away. One should not veer very far from the original song somehow. I think the change should only be the vocals, especially in this song, because I felt the pain. I feel that when John wrote this song, and I just felt it needs to be sung loud. You know what I mean? I'm sure there are other terms that could make it sound nicer, but I just felt it should be yelled out and just sung with the pain that he had, because I think he sung it in thought. I think he was thinking of what was happening at the time. I understood that he wrote it line by whatever as he was recording it. And so in thought is one thing, and then with the reality, it was a reality, obviously, because it was what happened in his life. But I'm also hoping that this song would do something for him, because he's such a great singer. It's a shame we don't have more work from him. But the song, aside from that, the song itself is a very special song. I think if anyone with heartbreak, and there are a lot of people out there with a pain one way or another, will take on to this song and the way that I'm singing it, because I only sung it from the feeling of the song itself and just how he did it, but just in my voice and in my feelings for what I felt that was portrayed in the lyrics. I heard recently. No, I love. I listen. Drills going in South of France, and I heard that song, with all the noise of the building and the house, and I thought, another one of those songs that I would love to have. Simple, fun songs, not heavy all the time. And everybody was in love with it. The feeling. And I even liked how she halfway said the words, I'm not the only one. She just stole your heart with how she sung and how she stood there playing the guitar. So then Roger brought her work that wasn't released, I understand. And yeah, I could hear her, but I didn't think it was her, the her that she made herself known with. I felt she needed that looseness and that fun girl thing, that girly kind of a feeling, And that one was another one that I didn't want to change. I just wanted to sing it like it was, because that's all it needed, was just a different attitude, a different accent, so to speak. Because she's a girl. She sings like a little girl, and a lot of these songs that she wrote here, it felt like it needed another strength to it, Yes, I'm happy with myself, if that's the question. I think you're saying that the attitude that I have, about the wisdom that I have of my life, I know that I've grown. I know that my attitude has a lot to do with what I've gone through, because there's a message and a learning that comes through all of the years of what you do. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm able to take that attitude on with it. Yeah. My desire, what I wanted. I was one of those little girls that had, if you told me, how can I just tell you this and make an example? If you described a house to me and you told me every detail, I would magnify it by 100 times or something. I always had a greater sense of things, and nothing was ever enough in the sense of my imagination. So there was no one pushing me. It was just something that I wanted. When I went to movies, I thought, that and this and that. And this, understand what I mean? And I took from the movie stars and the glamour and all of that. And I wanted that. I wanted, not that I'm that glamorous, but I took just enough from it of what I wanted, from what I saw around me in terms of movies, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that I was just powered by wanting to be more, wanting to be better than what I was, which was difficult without having your parents around you, And I just never gave it up. Even in those times, I made things as nice as possible. You see what I mean? So it was something that I wanted. It's about time to go on stage, and I'm trying to collect stage clothes and looks and so forth. And so a time like that is when it's time to catch those shows and try to find out who's coming up with something different. And I think you're speaking of the John Galliano show. And he's got a great corset there. I want him to make for me. It was absolutely, that's the one that really stood out. Aside from everything else, it was absolutely superb. He is really fresh and new. I think he is fantastic. Oh, that was what I played. I thought, what? Someone should actually film me when I'm listening to these tracks. I don't believe Roger wants me to sing this song. It's kind of that way. I mean, he doesn't even know. I think, God, footprints in the sand. Well, I'm a Southern girl. We have mud on our feet. I don't know. It was just so cute. You know, da, 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 da. Oh. You know, they can get a little bit too cutesy for me sometimes to stand and sing those songs. First, of course, I'm visual again. I hear the song, and instead of thinking that people will hear it, I visualize singing it. I think the fact that I'm going to have to perform it if it's a hit. Roger doesn't care about the performance. He wants to be a hit first because the performance comes second. I'm not taking that chance because I'm the one that's stuck up there to have to sing it, you know, even if it is a hit. I didn't even start to sing What's Love Got to Do with It until one day a Valley girl, a young girl, said, Tina Turner, hi, what's love got to do with it? All right. And then I thought, well, yeah, I'll sing it with that attitude. And then I accepted it, you know. It just takes something to get me to get it. This one, I found it's a rainy day song. So if it's if it's a rainy day, it's dreary, you're humming along. It's that kind of a, really another very mood song. It's melodic. Something can be picked up easily. I also think that I would light it according to, once it's released, single and the whole bit. If we get into the running order, I will make the mood make it happen for me and to bring the people away from that rock attitude to make the song happen, you know. The people want to see action somehow. You can listen to the music at home. When you go to see an act and they just stand there and sing, some people can enjoy it. I believe some people don't. I believe they want more. And that's why I immediately visualize a song for my performances to be able to give something to the people. Even if I'm standing there, there'll be something given coming from here that they will get something visual from, you know? It's just my attitude about performing. I worry about the people in the top and the back that only sees just the little images down. They don't really see what the girls look like and what the guys are doing and the expression on our faces. Do you see what I mean? That's so important to see things like that. John chasing me sometimes, or John chewing his chewing gum, and Kenny Moore bouncing around. All of that is what makes that thing that's so far away come alive and make you get involved with it. You know, otherwise you're just sitting watching a television where you don't see those kind of feelings that's going on the stage. There's a great rapport between me and my musicians as well to see all of those little flicker of an eye or the smile that's given to the bass player or Jack at one point. You know, all of that's important for the people to see. And that's That's the entertainment that they left with that good feeling, you know. I'm a pacer, you know. I just sort of, I've got a lot of, how do you call that, energy. What do you call it? Restless energy or whatever. Yeah, and once it's like a horse when he's ready to take off. He's pacing, he's prancing, you know, just in gear, ready to go and do it. Yeah, I like my work, and when I'm ready to do it, I'm ready to do it. Even when I'm not well, there's something there that drives me to get it on. You know, it's my life. Yeah, I love that music. I like it. I wanted one of those up-tempo European tracks. I mean, it's just a lot of energy in it and the sound. I like the style. And of course, I was jealous because they had produced Dusty Springfield and Liza Minnelli, and we were all at a movie premiere once, and I said to them, fellas, when are you going to write a song for me? And I found out later that they felt that they didn't think that my voice could work with their tracks some kind of way, and they were, you know, hesitant about it. So then, of course, I asked them for a song at that premiere, and so then it came via a friend of ours, Harriet Brand, and then to Roger, and we got it. And it didn't actually work with the movie soundtrack for Itina, but we had it. And what was magic about it is I found the tape. We kept it. And in my moving, I found the tape, and I thought, maybe it'll work this time. Roger did the same, and we both decided to try it again. And so, well, we did. And I think Neil was surprised. He was in the studio as we were recording, and I started to sing, and I saw him. As a matter of fact, he sort of went, yeah, you know. So actually, Neil and Chris Porter. Actually, that's the first time I met Chris, and I was very surprised because he did the Al Green song, and they had great feelings in the working of it, and sitting there working with Neil being there. It was good. It wasn't difficult, and he was again, I'd have to say, strict about certain lines being sung certain ways, and I think he was pleased with the outcome of it. This one is the only one that I can sing to you right now. I don't know why it's stuck in my head. It's something like, the music started, and then it says, oh, my attitude has always been, you can have me for tonight, but not for tomorrow. Oh, it's gonna cost you plenty, yeah, more than you can afford. More than you can borrow. Oh, but I can make them fall in love just as easy as I can pick their pockets, yeah. And when I've done my deed, I get on a freight train and make my getaway. I'm a thief of hearts. And racket, racket, racket. Isn't it great? I love it so much. And when I heard the demo, I thought, what a great song. It's so wonderful to play with the audience with it, you know, and all the sneaking and the private and the, it's wonderful. That was so much fun. I look forward to singing that one. Well, I said I look forward to singing them all. This one is a little bit more fun because it's got so much energy in it, you know, and the music is, you like it? The demo of that one really got me. And I didn't know if she was singing about a love affair or if she was singing about going to heaven, because it was the story is a mixture. And I did actually change it, and she said that I could. But then I thought, well, no, she's the mother of the song, and we should just leave it and just see what the luck of it will be. But the song, it was a spiritual song, actually. It's some kind of way. It seemed to me that it was about one of those relationships, black and white relationships, I mean, race-wise. And then it moved into we're all going to heaven. Normally I don't like to sing those songs because I'm not a really message singer. I like to giving people more of a good time rather than starting to think about problems. But I decided to do it because it felt good. I can say that more than anything else. Actually, I know Brenda. I was very happy to get a song from her because way back in the Argentina days, she was around the studios and writing songs, and still then. Yeah. That one, aside from the fact that it could be a really good theme for something special, it's so nice. He's using the same words he's using almost one sentence all the way through the song. It's so unusual because I've never heard a song where you would say something special about you, something so very special about you. There's something special about a kiss. There's something so very special about a kiss. Do you understand what I mean? How you can make lyrics, just 2 or 3 words, become a whole song. But it's the melody and how it's sung. And that was Ron Roger nor Trevor liked, and I had to push for that one because I said, aside from the fact that it's a wonderful song to me, I think it would be a great song for commercials, and it's something very special. And you don't know how much you use those until you really hear a song, and you say, oh, that's very special. Something so very special about it, you know? We use it often. That one is Holly Knight, and you never think also how much you say, well, just do something. We use that a lot. And I found that after I listened to the demo, I was using it a lot. And that one was so very hard to make it happen because it was another one of those old-fashioned. Speaking of old-fashioned, we're speaking of another time of music where it worked. And today, we must all admit that it takes a special kind of arrangement to get radio to play or to get the people to lock into it. And I liked it like it was, but I must say that it probably would not have gotten the attention that it deserved. It's a hot one. It's another great one that will be good for a performance. It's a performance song as well. It's a very sexy one. Not necessarily that you need to do sexy movements, but the words are almost funny and sexy, but good. Private Dancer album, Private Dancer performance, the little jean jacket. I tell you, I was rock and roll. I always wanted to be rock and roll because, as you know, I always did rhythm and blues, but we changed it, and I was basically rock and roll on stage, but I wasn't singing rock and roll songs. And Private Dancer was the moment of my life when I arrived at being a true rock and roll singer, which is what I wanted. It was the dream of that. And all of it just came by chance, the jacket, the little dress, and the whole thing. It all just came together. And so one shot was taken in Paris, and someone wrote something there. And I still have it because it was that moment that I arrived. I would say maybe this might be second to it, but I always enjoy my work. I make sure I do because I'm out there doing it, and I have to have fun. And that comes across as well. But that's what I said about this album. It's so much fun. It's it's serious, and then it's naughty, and then it's energy, and it's, it's same as my guys. They're going to have fits when they get this. They're going to love it, actually. We all just have a good time with certain songs and lines, and it's just such a rapport between me and my musicians with the songs that I choose. Way back when I filled the grounds of Woburn Abbey, and I thought, am I there now? Am I at the place where I will feel will I continue this? And, well, we didn't really know. Of course, as a manager, people say, of course you will. But I didn't feel that I would. And that was my motivation this time to say, well, whenever I go back again, it would be the test to see, am I really at that stage where have I really become known and cared about and respected musically enough to be able to fill stadiums? That's what is involved, to be able to put the music out there, to be in the minds of the people, to fill stadiums. And when I got my answer was when the tickets went on sale and no album was out. I don't even think, yes, it was Golden Eye was out, but that was just a soundtrack, and it was successful, but not like what you call this is a single to my album. There was no album. And all of the tickets all over Europe sold out 2 and 3 times right away. And I thought to myself then, this is the next thing. Look, I'm really tough on myself. Then I'll wait and see. Tough to see it now. Tickets are one thing, but until I see them standing out there and I say, hi, everybody, that's when I feel like, okay, that's what I'm doing now. I have arrived at the stage where I will draw people like this. But it comes from hard work. It comes from giving the people good music and fresh music and other ingredients, I think. Yeah, I thought my best stage was the Foreign Affairs stage, because I loved it so much. It was just the time and the epitome of any stages that I'd had. And I couldn't get Mark to understand, or Mr. Fisher to understand what I was looking for. I like the Ark, the big building on the road here that is just rented, thank goodness. I love that building. And I wondered why they couldn't get it off the ground. And I wanted my stage to feel like that with me on top of it. I wanted when you walk into the back of the hall, the first thing you would see was this arc-looking thing, and then it's where I'd be on top. And he couldn't get it quite. I kept making forms. Finally, he came to the south of France, and I turned a pot upside down because, we're in the process of building, and everything is sitting around so you can make examples. And I turned the pot upside down as one of those that's made just like an arc. It comes right up and had ridges in it. It would look like steps. And then right at the top, and he says, oh, a pot upside down. So that's how we managed to get it, which I hope it feels like that. And another surprise of how I'm getting out in the audience to be out there with the people, to actually get and stand out there with them. And, there's another entrance for Golden Eye that's very special, I think. I've done everything for all of that except I haven't gotten my costumes together yet. Well, I've been too busy getting everybody else together. But that's what I must do. I must make sure that my house is in order, and then I get myself in order. Well, I want to do a medley this time. I want to try to really put together a really good, strong, exciting medley, because medleys can become boring because you've got the kids up there, or the audience up there. I speak of kids because they're the ones always down here jumping and moving around. And then you got to come down for a medley. So the medley's got to be good. I mean, it can't be just throw songs out there at them. So I want to try to capture some of the older songs in the form of a medley, except the ones that's very exciting and the ones that I want people to hear. So it's almost like balling up your fist and pulling out a string of the good ones, because I must play some of the new ones. But the hardest part, until the album is coming out, until the album is actually out and the people are used to hearing it, it's hard to play it on stage. So I want to make sure that the people are a bit more familiar with the album. So what I'll do is I'll do a running order, and I'll make spaces for those songs to be put in when the album is released at a certain time, and I think it'll work. But running orders don't actually happen until you precisely know what is happening with the music. And sometimes when it's released, and then we find out how well it's going or how much is being played, and then we slot it in. What I want now is, if I don't feel like dancing, if I don't feel like making a particular move, then the girls can do it. My attitude, why I added one more girl for the 3 of them to take the load if it's one of those nights when it's, not a great night for me. And I feel, well, they can do it. It was a perfect example this time. I said to the guys, well, I didn't have time to get in for the television show to do the choreography. I said, but the girls are doing it. I'll pick up something. And that's the attitude I want to take. I don't want to wear myself out. I want to really enjoy this tour. And I'm going to put the load on them. And it's good because they're young, they're pretty, they got great bodies, They're perfect for the crowd. I even added a white girl because I've got a mixture of an audience, and that just might be a desire for the guys to have, for a white girl to be there, or whatever. So it's a set of twins, which are very pretty, and their names are Karen, Sharon, and Cynthia. Cynthia's the new one. Can they dance? Cynthia actually worked with Janet Jackson. Roger found all three girls because I said to him, I'm not going to take the responsibility of these girls complaining. If they complain, they come to you. So they're fine. No complaining. They're fine. They're not grumbling. They just do as they're told, and that's it. And they're enjoying it. I'm happy to have them. They're not a problem. They're all like children. Do as they're told. And, I think they'll be able to make it happen for me. They have the right elements. Well, after we finish this tour, there'll be a break because I'm sure I'll need one. It's around Christmas, and it's not a good time for singing for me because I like the Christmas season. And then afterwards, we go to America for some dates. And then depending on how well everything is going and how I'm feeling, really, I'm sure we will cover areas of Australia because that's been a big market for me. And but I'm just taking it step by step after the main tour, you see, because the Strangers will always wait for me, I'm sure, and I can always go there with the show and perform because they always have waited for me, so to speak. So that's my attitude about if I don't get there this time, then I can take half a year's rest or more and then go. So I don't want to push myself that far. I just want to say I want to get this one out of the way and get that one in America out of the way because that's a bit of business dealing with Hanes commercial. I'm Hanes hosiery. Yeah, we're going to do it in the desert. Can you imagine stockings with dust on it? Well, that's Tina Turner, isn't it? Well, anyhow, that's going to be fun, I think. And they want me to do a bit of promotion, and hopefully we can bring them over to Europe with that line as well. So, and then but I'm sure everything will be all right. I'm sure we'll go to Australia, but it's not something that I want to put my print on at the moment. Yeah, it was a dream come true, actually. I've always loved Europe. It was just something special. Maybe it's because it's the total opposite of America, but it's just and to be able to live in different countries in Europe, it's not very difficult because it's not as far spread as states or in America. But I have a strong affinity for Europe. Yeah, after I moved, the first time I went back, I wasn't thinking about, the fact that of the movement of flying or whatever, and I thought, I'm not going home, and I felt really emotional somewhere, and there was a bridge that was being built when I left, and the bridge was finished, and I thought, oh, my Cologne, I felt, I really felt my little town, I missed it, I go back, I have friends there now. Normally I've just gone back for business, but I still have friends there, and I go back for it, and I'm sure that. I think they're going to be happy to see me. I mean, it's been I've just lived there and not entertaining at all. And now for me to come back as on stage, I think they'll be happy to see me. I'm happy to go back. You're welcome. Hi, it's Tina Turner. Stay tuned for news of an exclusive interview about my new album, Wildest Dreams. Explore your wildest dreams with me, Tina Turner. Hi, this is Tina Turner counting down to the new year. Hi, this is Tina Turner wishing you a very Merry Christmas. Hi.